Right, my 20 favourite Bruce Springsteen songs. Now, I could have probably picked 20 favourite Bruce Springsteen songs from about his first 4 or 5 albums, and I would probably be struggling to pick a handful of favourite songs from the later albums. But I think I've spread this out quite well. So I'm starting at number 20 with Sherry Darling from The River. Now, I've got the Ties That Bind box set, and Sherry Darling is it's an exuberant song. It's like somehow he got really serious, didn't he? He started singing about miserable people living miserable lives somewhere in the Midwest. But this was fun. This was got some beer and the highway's free, and I've got you, and baby, you've got me. Hey, 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 what do you say, Sherry Darling? It's like an amusing anecdote about how he's going to kick the woman's mother out of the car if she keeps moaning. And it's got sax, and it's got a double stop guitar solo that influenced me so much over the years. I've played it in bands. It's just fun, sing along. And number 19 from the same album, I have The Ties That Bind, and that was the opening track. And Springsteen had sort of avoided doing punk in about 77, 78, and it's like he couldn't resist it, and The Ties That Bind is like power pop. It's got Rickenbacker 12 string, and it's just really energetic. And The River was the album which has Hungry Heart on, which is apparently a song he originally wrote for the Ramones, and then decided to do it himself because he thought it was about time he had a hit, because like Manfred Mann and a few other people had been having hits with his stuff. At 18, from the album High Hopes, I have The Ghost of Tom Joad. Now, I have the acoustic version, I have the Ghost of Tom Joad album, which I've probably listened to maybe once or twice, and I'm not really that interested in that kind of stuff. I didn't really remember the song, it didn't really stand out, but I heard this version, and it did stand out. And it was partly due to Tom Morello, and I had no previous knowledge of Tom Morello particularly, but just the solos. And if you see the live performances, and you've got Bruce and Tom Morello playing, and Morello's giving it all that sort of thing where he does makes it sound like he's scratching a record, and it just builds up this fantastic climax. And I discovered Tom Morello. I went and listened to Rage Against the Machine. I've done a recommendation for their first album. I even did one for the Maneskin album because Tom Morello's on that. So that was number 18. Number 17, we have Rendezvous, which is on the album The Promise. And this is one of those songs that he tarted up. It was like unfinished tracks from, I think it was Darkness on the Edge of Town, and he recorded loads of stuff, didn't finish it, a lot of it, and one of the songs was this song Rendezvous. Now, I knew this song. Somewhere in my loft I have a cassette, and it's got it's either Clarence Clemens or Gary U.S. Bonds or something, and Rendezvous is on that, so I knew the song. And I think it's a great song that his version should have been more famous. It's typical Springsteen. And what more can you say? Typical early Springsteen. Number 16 is Do I Love You Indeed I Do, which is on the recent album he did of like soul covers. And it's such a brilliant song. And he does it well, and despite my reservations of the newer Springsteen material, you can't fault it. It's a great song, he plays it well. and it's my number 16. Number 15, I've got Badlands. I did also have I could have had Darkness on the Edge of Town. For some reason they seem to match up, and I've been playing Badlands live, and it is such a spirited, fist in the air, up tempo thing. I once had a notion deep inside. It ain't no sin to be glad you're alive. It's very powerful. It's not. I don't think it's a great song. I never thought it was a great song. It's very simple, just 3 chords. I just felt it was a bit almost beneath Springsteen, but it just works so well. And these Badlands aren't treating us good. And I live in a little town, and we have darkness on the edge of town because we run out of street lights, and we have Badlands. In fact, some people might say I live in the Badlands. At number 14, I've got Hearts of Stone, which I think was on the first Tracks album. There's a new Tracks album coming out, and I think I might even have had the shorter version. There was like a double CD, and then there was like a 4 CD set or something. But I know it because it was a well-known Southside Johnny song. And Southside Johnny did quite a lot of really good Bruce Springsteen songs, like Fever, and there were also songs that Springsteen wrote with Steve Van Zandt. And so Southside Johnny is another one of my heroes. In fact, I probably prefer his singing to Bruce Springsteen's singing. And I've never put the two together, but I probably think he does a better version of Hearts of Stone. And it's just a simple pop song. We can't talk now. I'm not alone. Put your ear close to the phone. It's that kind of thing. It was her last chance, our last dance, because her heart's of stone. Number 13, from the album Greetings from Asbury Park, his first album, I've got Growing Up. And I'm not a big fan of the first album. It's got some great stuff on it. If I'm honest, I probably prefer Manfred Mann's version of Blinded by the Light. Probably one of the first Springsteen songs I came across. But Growing Up, it just tells a tale. And I swear I found the key to the universe in the end. And I swear I found the key to the universe in the engine of an old parked car. And that's both poetic and quite realistic and down to earth. Certainly a lot more so than diplomats on chrome horses and Siamese cats and all that. Number 12, I have Because the Night, which was also on the Promise album. And the story is he had a demo and somebody gave it, the roadie gave it to Patti Smith. Patti Smith finished it off. And he liked Patti Smith, well, everybody liked Patti Smith's version. I probably would prefer her version if it was of the fact that he then finished it off in the copying the Patti Smith version. So I suppose they're comparable, but I think the Patti Smith version is in my heart. Number 11 from the album Wrecking Ball. Another album that doesn't seem to get much love from Springsteen fans. I've got Land of Hope and Dreams, which is just an anthemic song with a great message, and it's done as a sort of medley with the song People Get Ready, which was a Curtis Mayfield song that he'd recorded with his band The Impressions, and it's quite moving. It's that, hands in the air, land of hope and dreams. And I suppose if you're American, you need hope and dreams, don't you? Number 10, I've got Candy's Room. I just love Candy's Room. it just builds and builds, and then when you think it can't build anymore, it does. It's so intense. You could see how he was probably influenced by the punk thing at the time, and it takes your breath away. I first heard it on a bootleg before I heard it on the album, and it was just probably one of the most amazing things I'd heard. I mean, obviously this was like mid 70s, 77, 78. So I've heard a lot of amazing things since, but Candy's Room still stands up as something I absolutely love. Number 9, I've got Jersey Girl, a live version of Jersey Girl. I wasn't a big fan. I think I was disappointed when Born in the USA came out. I quite liked the single Dancing in the Dark, but once again, I think it wasn't what I'd been hoping for. And at the time I worked in the studio, and everybody wanted that Springsteen drum sound. And I think they probably all regret it now. Born in the USA, it just seemed to be a lot of shouting. I know there's a message there, but it's just, it never really appealed to me. But I've got this 12-inch, and I heard him doing Jersey Girl, and it knocked me out. And the thing about Jersey Girl is I've played it plenty of times. It's a very simple 3-chord song. Springsteen's band do a lot of jamming. They will do requests. I don't suppose they spent a lot of time learning this song. They wouldn't have had to. But the way it builds, and they lost, there should be a middle 8 in it, which they don't play. It goes into this amazing saxophone solo. And one of the things that came out of my love of this song is I went out and bought Heart Attack of Vine by Tom Waits, which it's slightly different. The Tom Waits version does have a middle 8, and Springsteen wrote some words for the last verse. And so when I played it in the band, I thought we'd be clever. We did both. We made a version which had the Tom Waits middle 8 and the Springsteen last verse. And then I found there is a version online which has Bruce and Tom, and they play the whole thing. And I mean, what more could you want? And turned me on to Tom Waits. Number 8, from the album Magic, I have The Girls in Their Summer Clothes. It's another pop song. It's just a simple pop song. And it's spring. And I will soon be looking and seeing girls in their summer clothes, and this song will come to me every time I see girls in their summer clothes go passing by. And it's like I've said before, there's not that much after the 80s of Springsteen that I like, but there are moments that I absolutely love, and Girls in Their Summer Clothes is one of them. And another one is Ghosts from Letter to You, and I think I might have seen the video of this before I bought the album. Might have seen the Saturday Night Live clip, and there's something about it. He's singing about losing people, and he says that because he lost Clarence and Danny, and I played in a band and we lost the singer, and we got together to play at her funeral, and there's something about this song where he captures that, and whereas with Born to Run he captured what I wanted to feel like when I was young, possibly. This, he captured what it felt like to be going to a funeral from somebody when we were young. We were playing in a band and we were playing at her funeral. And the other thing about it is Steve Van Zandt plays a Rickenbacker 12-string, and there's a bit where they all go la la la. And when I heard that that floored me. I mean, that for me was rock and roll perfection. And I wasn't expecting it. It's not a bad album. Certainly I prefer it to most of the other stuff he did after the river. Okay, number 6, I have 41 Shots from High Hopes. And this is, I heard this was it was on the live album when the E Street Band got back together. And I had it, I was listening to it on tape, I think. And at first, it seemed to be them shouting the word 41 shots. I didn't take an awful lot of notice. And I'm not sure I even rated it that much until I bought the High Hopes album. And then, I don't know, it really hit me about, living in your American skin could get you killed. It's really quite stark. And possibly, like I say, it's not particularly catchy, but it does its job. It really makes you think. Yes. Number 5 is Sandy from The Wild, the Innocent and the E Street Shuffle. And the thing about this is that it was back when he made things sound enticing. He made the 4th of July in Asbury Park, that's what it's called. You could just picture these characters, and he sings it in a kind of enticing way. He doesn't have that Midwestern thing where he sings about all these people called Mary or whatever, and they're all having a hard time. But it actually sounds exciting. It's sad but true. Sandy, the fireworks are hailing over Little Eden tonight, forcing a light into those stony faces left stranded on this warm July. Down in the town, the circuit's full of switchblade lovers, so shiny, so fast, so sharp, as the wizards play on Pinball Way, or the boardwalk way past dark. And the boys from the casino dance with their shirts open like Latin lovers on the shore, chasing those silly little New York virgins by the score. Now, I have tried to play this, and it chokes me up. And there's the bit about Madame Marie telling better... the cops busted Madame Marie. And I remember, there's an episode of The Sopranos where they're on a boardwalk and there's a fortune teller called Madame Marie. I think that made me choke up a bit. And Love Me Tonight, and I Will Love You Forever, Sandy Girl, my baby. Perfect. Number 4, I have Rosalita. And anybody of my age will remember seeing on the Old Grey Whistle test where him and Clarence, and one's on a piano on one side, they're on the other, and they're crossing over, and he's singing this amazing song that just, it doesn't seem to settle. It has all these changes to it, and it's quite restless, and it's about, he's just got a record contract, and he trying to persuade her parents that he's gonna be big, and it's like a little opera, and it's got the line in it, someday we'll look back on this and it will all seem funny. And that's one of these lines that I've quoted to myself many times since I heard, well, probably before I heard this, but since then, that's a line that means a lot to me. And now we come to Jungle Land on the Born to Run album. And when I first heard Jungle Land, I thought it was preposterous. I thought, we were getting close to punk. I was listening to people like Dr. Feelgood, pub rock, and Flaming Groovies. And Jungle Land is almost like a prog rock epic. And there's a bit where he sings from the churches to the jails, and the organ comes in, and I actually thought that was funny. But over the years, particularly when you see clips of them doing it live, and that sax solo, and the words, the opera on the turnpike, and the ballet in the alley, and kids flash their guitars like switchblades. And it's totally ludicrous, but that's my kind of poetry. and I wished he had not abandoned it for realism. So number 2 is obviously Thunder Road. I mean, what more can you say? Thunder Road. I've got this guitar and I'm going to make it walk. I'm going to take that long walk from your front porch to my front seat. Roy Orbison singing for the lonely. It's got everything. It's not my number 1, because my number 1, quite obviously, is Born to Run. And I remember hearing Born to Run for the first time on the radio and thinking it was the most amazing thing I'd heard. And I still think it's one of the most amazing things I've ever heard. And the words, once again, the words are quite ludicrous, but then so is the words to Under Milk Wood. You know, I mean, this Springsteen is my Dylan Thomas, early Springsteen. Before he decided he should be cataloguing what real life is like, he was cataloguing what my fantasies were like. He was, this is what I wanted. I wanted this to be playing guitar in rock bands, you know, with saxophone players, and Born to Run was. I probably still think it's the best rock record ever recorded. And I was there the week, it was the week before Live Aid when he played at Wembley Stadium. And it was the reappearance of Steve Van Zandt, which made it special for me. I didn't know that Van Zandt would stay in the band from that point onwards, but he hadn't been in the band, and he's one of my heroes. I really like the Little Steven records. And that bit where Bruce shouts out 1, 2, 3, 4, the highway's jammed with broken heroes on a last chance power drive. And that's me. I have played that song loads of times. I've performed it live, and I always struggle with the frog in my throat when I'm singing about that highway jammed with broken heroes on a last chance power drive, because that is me, in my mind at least. It's been my 20 Bruce Springsteen records. Thank you. It's been emotional.